All right. Charlie, I checked out as many spring games as I could get to. I did catch probably half the Tennessee effort. And between North Carolina and Oklahoma, I saw the likes of Eric Gray and Ty Chandler. And there have been quite the defections there. There are injuries on this football team. But we're going to cut straight to what everybody wants to talk about, and that's the quarterback situation, which should be in better hands considering Josh Heupel's a former quarterback, has coached quarterbacks in offense his entire career versus Jeremy Pruitt. So we got three quarterbacks to choose from. I'm sure nothing's been decided in the spring because there is not a clear-cut favorite. So your thoughts about what you saw on Saturday?
Yeah, that is the big question because Josh Heupel, the new coach, is a huge quarterback guy. That's been his MO for his career as a head coach. And I don't think that we saw anything too defining yesterday, but you definitely saw Harrison Bailey being the best player yesterday. Does that mean that he's even the best quarterback currently on the roster? You just always have to take the spring game with a grain of salt because, first of all, it's not a real game environment. Defense is usually not playing as hard as they would. They're not going to go as hard at you as you would in a typical SEC football game. You have elements like that and different things. Obviously, the quarterback cannot be tackled, and they have that in the back of their mind because there's always that element in an SEC football game with when you're standing across from some of those defensive linemen that they might come and crush you, and they don't have to worry about that in the spring game. You know, there's always those elements that you have to consider. But Harrison Bailey certainly played the best. He's a sophomore, and he was a 4-star, borderline 5-star coming in. A lot of hype around him last year. It didn't really come to fruition for him as a freshman, but with Heupel being this quarterback guy, they have high hopes for whoever ends up being the quarterback. But you also had Hendon Hooker in the room's transfer from Virginia Tech. I don't know that I would say he impressed too much yesterday, but I mean, could be a serviceable option. He is a more mobile quarterback than Bailey and kind of fits that bill. And then Brian Maurer, who's another guy who is more mobile, but pretty reckless with the football also at the same time. And so I would put it this way, that there just is not like a clear, great option for Tennessee, but there's also even wild cards out there that we haven't seen play yet. Caden Salter, a big-time recruit that Tennessee got during this offseason. He's currently suspended for some off-the-field shenanigans that were going on, and that hasn't reached its resolution yet. Heupel got asked about it yesterday, and he didn't really have an answer for when they might even be coming back. So that kid has missed the entire spring of his first year at Tennessee, and that's always going to be tough. Then you have Joe Milton, who's a quarterback transfer from Michigan, who is supposedly coming in, but it's not 100% confirmed yet, even though apparently he's on the academic roll already at Tennessee or to be enrolled. But he was at the game yesterday, but hasn't officially said he's going to be at Tennessee. He's going to be at Tennessee. I think we could say with a pretty good confidence there. He's going to be a factor too. I mean, he's a guy that has actually played Big Ten football and, played on that big stage. And so where exactly is Heupel going to go? I don't know. They all sort of fit his system in different ways. But Bailey just played the best yesterday. But I think fall football would be much more telling when it comes to the quarterback situation. And we'll be able to break it down a lot more then. But on the whole, it was fun at least to see where the direction Heupel might be going.
If nothing else, for good or bad, positive or negative, there's at least a given, a security blanket in Hendon Hooker. He's played enough football for a decent football program and a decent conference to know what you got with him. I would think that he's performed adequately, if not better than that, at least, especially 2 years ago. He had 17 touchdowns and 4 picks.
Yeah.
So he's played some decent football. And then, of course, you've got the balance of run and pass between those three guys. And Hooker's the more run guy in terms of analyzing his game.